When we talk about value in modern LEGO sets, it can be hard to judge what feels like it's worth the money, with inflation rising and the cost of sets and the price per part of sets changing a lot over time. Are sets from when you grew up really more valuable or a better deal than sets now? Are modern themes with functions and loyalty rewards really a better deal? Today we'll be looking back at the original 1989 wave of LEGO Pirates to see if the value of these sets holds up with what we'd expect in a modern set today, if these were a better deal or a worse deal than what you can buy on store shelves right now. These sets are iconic and nostalgic to many people, but they came out well before I was born. These sets are a good indication of what an original, brand new LEGO idea looks like, with minifigs and new elements. This wave also includes a range of sets at different price points, which we can compare to modern sets at the same prices to see how the value has changed over time. We'll start with the smaller three sets, the first of which is Buried Treasure, which includes just a single minifig, some accessories, and a treasure chest. This would have cost $3.25 in Australian dollars back in the 80s, and with inflation, that would be almost $9, the same as a decently sized box set now. This is about the same as buying this $10 set today, which has about triple the amount of parts, but only about double the amount of actual volume of parts. A set like Castaway's Raft was a great introduction to the theme, with 3 of the new minifigs from the year, a bunch of weapons accessories, and a starting price of only $8.50. With inflation, this is around $22, which is comparable to a battle pack today, such as a Star Wars or Marvel one. The parts weren't as versatile, but they were definitely useful. Comparing it to something like Bounty Boat, which really only includes the one minifig, cannon, and a couple extra accessories, this set originally retailed for $4.25, making it the second cheapest. However, at an inflation-adjusted price of about $11, I don't see the value as much, compared to the other two, which are pretty good deals at the lowest price end. Overall, these are all great introductions to the Pirates theme, as a whole. But the true battle pack among the smaller sets is actually this set, Pirates minifigures, which just included some of the most important of the new characters, and some accessories and weapons, retailed originally for $6.50 for only 33 pieces. With inflation, this is about $17, which doesn't sound great, but it would be like if Modern Battle Pack only included the good stuff. Shipwreck Island is an odd set that's kind of a parts pack with no exclusive parts of its own. It cost $12 on retail for 70 parts, the same as that same Airplane vs. Hospital bed set, but with inflation it would cost almost $30. This, I feel, is not the best deal compared to all these smaller sets, and even though you get some large parts like the base plate, it's a tough sell. While Saber Island is similarly small for its price, I think it has a better presence than Shipwreck Island. At $15.50 you get 3 minifigs, a bit more of a substantial build and boat, and a final inflation-adjusted price of $40. While this feels like a lot, I do think that it has that feeling of being a part of a larger base. Is something that you can definitely get copies of and build something really nice with it, and with extra Imperials it's always useful. Moving into the 4 largest sets, the Forbidden Island was supposed to be the land base of the bad guys, with everything you would need for a basic pirate base. The price per piece is not as good because of all the gigantic parts in the set, but at its retail cost of $37, this is an adjusted price of around $100. You get the size of it for $100, but it lacks the fine details that you'd expect on a $100 set today. Today at this price point, you could get something like some of the larger botanicals, flower bouquets, or Big Ninjago set. The bare bones construction is very evident from the back. It's expecting you to buy other sets to fill up this sort of spaces, which means at $100 it feels like you have a somewhat empty building. The corresponding Good Guys base was the Eldorado Fortress, an iconic set that uses one big raised base plate, which does affect the part count. In a modern day set, this would be made out of multiple pieces. This would have been a very impressive but expensive set at the time. At $66 for 500 parts, it would today be worth about $175 brand new off a shelf. This is a lot to ask people in 1989 to spend on a LEGO set. Very few sets cost this much even at the time. The raised base plate does a lot of the heavy lifting, but how much value is this really compared to the Forbidden Island? These were good playsets for the time, but the real draw is the ships. The Caribbean Clipper was an imposing vessel, and the only other set that you could get that was a ship in this original Pirates wave. Price per piece is once again a flawed metric with this set, with the gigantic parts it uses. At $54, this would be about $143 today. Considering the cost of a modern ship, such as the One Piece's Going Merry, these ships have similar size and value for what you get, with the Going Merry being about $50 more, but having those extra pieces and minifigs, and detail. However, the Caribbean Clipper is still an iconic design. and an excellent pairing to the literal flagship set of the wave. The Black Seas Barracuda has gone down in history as one of the most iconic LEGO sets of all time. The fact that this was the first ever attempt at a pirate ship is incredible. With a lot of big specialized new parts, it was expensive, but you got the entire pirate experience if you went for this one. At $110 retail, this was one of the most expensive LEGO sets you could get at the time, with an inflation-adjusted price of $300. That doesn't seem like much today with how many giant adult display sets there are at that price, but to ask a parent to spend that in 1989 was insane. This was before toys were worth this much money. $300 was an insane amount of money to ask for a toy pirate ship. However, if you did, this was your favorite set. While it's clear some sets were better value than others, we also want to take a look at all of the sets as a whole. If you bought every single one of these sets, it would have cost you $317.50 in 1989, and with inflation, that's $845.84. Let's look at what you would actually get with this. If you bought every set, you've actually gotten exactly 3 each of Pirate Brown Boats and Imperial Red Boats across all the sets. This would have been a really good army builder, and would have worked really nicely next to your copy of the other big pirate ship sets. Across all the sets, you would have gotten 12 guns, 8 of which have wheels so that they can actually be moved around on the ships. These new shooting cannon designs were new for the year, unless you lived in North America, where you got this non-shooting variant, which is a nicer display piece, but clearly lacks the playability of all of the other cannons. Across all the sets, it feels like you would get more animals, but there's only 10 included. 4 monkeys, 4 parrots, and only 2 of the sharks. These sharks would become an iconic part of LEGO's catalogue, and all these animals were the very first time in this kind of quantity in these new sets. The pirates were armed to the teeth with these new accessories. This included 17 pistols, 4 maps, 18 muskets, 35 cutlasses, and 13 oars, 7 in red and 6 in brown. Some of the best new parts were these chrome gold coins. Each set included a full chest of coins, which was 2 sprues. Across 16 sprues in all the sets, that's 64 gold coins total across the entire theme. And finally, the best part, the minifigs. In this original wave, you got 11 of the mustachioed sailors, 5 of the blue tunics, 2 of the very first female minifigs, and 4 Redbeards. The Redbeard especially was such a cool new minifig, and to get 4 of him over the entire theme was incredible. Overall, this is an incredible lineup of minifigs in just the Pirates faction. The Imperials faction is so impressive to see all lined up. This was a great way to army build, especially if you bought sets like Saber Island and the Fortress. In total, you got 8 of the tall Shako hat soldiers, 4 lieutenants, 3 navy officers, and the 2 admirals, 1 in the El Dorado Fortress and 1 in the Clipper. These are so impressive to army build, and they look incredible. It's the reason you can buy multiples of these pirate sets is because of these kind of minifigs. This means across all the sets you would have gotten a total of 39 minifigs, many of these featuring brand new different faces and headgear for the first ever time. So was the 89 Pirates wave a good value? Was it better than modern sets in terms of value? Well, at $845 for the entire theme, I'm not sure if it is. It paints a picture of a really incredibly vibrant pirate town, but think about how much it would cost to buy all of a theme like Dreams. Do pirates really scale up in terms of that? I definitely think it's up to you what value seems like in a LEGO set, but it's unfair to say that modern sets and newer sets are better value than others, because it's so subjective and it ultimately depends on what are adults willing to spend on plastic bricks. Ultimately, creative risks with better value for the consumer happen when people support new original LEGO themes rather than IP-funded big sets. Thanks again for all your support in my recent projects. I hope to make more interesting new video ideas soon, but be sure to tell me what you guys are interested in. Hopefully more stuff like this that I enjoy making. Thanks again.